I've just come from a side event organized by the South Center. And the South Center is basically an institute set up by the multilateral effort of governments from the South to enable it to do analysis, research, and advise it on the implications of the various impacts and the impacts of the various proposals on the ground to deal with climate change in these international negotiations. The leader of the delegation of the group of 77 and the representative from China were there, and they reiterated, and this is a big change in the stance of the southern countries, that they're sticking to having a second commitment period for Kyoto Protocol, which was sort of up in the air since Copenhagen, when this, you put your proposals on the table according to what you would like. Whereas this is asking for mandated emissions cut for the second commitment period, because Kyoto Protocol the first period finishes in 2012. So this is the first major development, and it was reiterated across by the leader of the G77 countries, by China, and by the leader of the ALBA group, representing the ALBA group, the minister from from Ecuador. And of course, Martin, in his inimitable style, gave us the intricacies of what was on thing. So that's one. Any questions on this?
Any questions? I think people are a little lost what he's talking about.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Good evening, sir. I'm Glida.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
And I would just like to know if how do you all plan on involving students in this? It's a concern because I'm a student, and if yes, how? I mean, in this project.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
What we was trying to get more students in what is happening, to understand the ramifications of both the international negotiations and the impact on the ground in India, and to do something especially in Bangalore, because Bangalore, as you know, is a fast growing city, and we emit a lot. I think you all face transport problems, and the government, for example, is trying to promote cars at the expense of public transport, for instance, and people who want to walk, who want to cycle, cannot do so. So we have to get involved and force the government to change its mind, stop selling more cars and make more rail transport. But there are many other things that
This is a demonstration of
with the tub and things like that. But there's much more to do, because I think Karnataka has just come out with its state action plan. So that has come out just a month and I think just a few weeks ago actually. And it is up for debate right now, and we need you all to get involved, because there's not enough people who know about the Karnataka state action plan. And it's not just about Karnataka state, it's about different parts of Karnataka, different stakeholders in Karnataka who need to get involved. And I think as students, yes, you need to get involved. So we'll keep you informed, because there's a group of people who are getting involved in this Karnataka state action plan. This is offhand, I can think of 2 or 3 things. Yeah? Okay. Okay, John, anything else? Because I'm on the wavelength of Durban, and I think there's a slight kind of a difference in what we're talking about.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Somebody else wants to ask you a question.
So,
What?
hello, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, okay.
Could you comment on how... can you hear me, sir?
Hello.
Yeah. Could you comment on how this is going to affect the economy of India, to be specific? Yes, all the changes that they're talking about.
What effect? This all these negotiations on climate change, etc.
Because as someone
Okay.
mentioned earlier, they want to declare us as a developed nation.
Okay. Right. Yes, there is a move to amend the list of Annex 1 countries and have emerging economies like India, China on board.
This is a demonstration of
How these
Wirecast.
negotiations impact India is that basically they are asking us to cut down our emissions at a level where we are what they were about, say, 100 years ago. And if we are stuck at that, it will mean that we will not have enough of carbon budgets which is available to India to do things to eradicate things like to create infrastructure for livelihoods and jobs in the rural areas, give energy. For example, today more than 45% of people do not even have a connection to the grid. And the 55% people who have connection, only about 10-15% of people in Bombay, Bangalore, not even Bangalore. Bangalore is one of the worst cities in India. But Delhi and Bombay will have power, for example, most of the time. So can you imagine the plight of people in the rural areas who don't have power? Now, all this will be impacted if we are considered and accepted as, or we accept to be one of the Annex 1 countries. But beyond that, I think the more important issue is how is all this going to impact generally our economy. I think we probably have to go to the low carbon path. But I'll give you a very simple example. I think Siddharth told you a little earlier about decentralized energy options which we are doing, like my mini hydro or solar power in the villages, etc. Now that's all right to do in certain places and things like that, but it's very expensive. What is the problem is that, like for example, you and I, we go to the malls to shop, and okay, you and I, when we go to the malls, it's an air-conditioned, huge millions of square feet of air-conditioned space in which we buy our jeans, t-shirts, food, etc., etc. The power that these malls are paying is subsidized, and it is grid power. So every additional coal plant that we build is actually feeding the power to these malls or to Infosys. Okay, I'm taking names, but I'm just giving as examples. I'm not saying that, for example, Infosys is the devil or something like that. What I'm trying to say is we in the cities are taking that power, whereas, and it's subsidized power. Whereas the people where the power plants are set up, first of all, they suffer from the ill effects of that power plant. And secondly, they don't get access to that power. So we are even negotiating in, for example, over here, in the name of the poor, but we are building power plants so that, for example, Bangalore will have 24 hours electricity rather than having these power cuts frequently. How will it affect our economy? It will affect our economy because we have high growth rate in certain pockets of the country, but we do not have an infrastructure, either physical infrastructure or an economic infrastructure or a social cultural infrastructure by which 4 to 500 million youth who are coming out and getting educated in the rural areas will have access to a livelihood that is meaningful, fulfilling, and give them dignity.